Hi everyone, welcome back to another edition of the Velvet Lounge Life, and today we have a few things we're going to talk about. One is how we're dealing with the resale of precious metals and some things that you should be aware of before you let yours go. Also, we're going to talk about what's sold on eBay, and also how to help yourself. So when it comes to decluttering, what you should keep, what you should sell, and also, are you really prepared to sell? And why you should if you're not. So let's get right into it. So one of the sales that we had, and we had several, some private sales, but these are obviously our online sales because hello, I can show you that in pictures. And this was a scrap lot of gold filled or 1/20th gold scrap jewelry and a 14 karat gold 1/20th pen. So it's not pure 14 karat gold. So yes, a lot of people don't realize that this type of gold can be sold versus thrown into your costume jewelry pile. In this lot, I have some pins, bracelets, 2 watches, and of course you can see the pen. So out of the 82 grams, what I do is the grams are always higher than what I post. And the reason for that is because I try to subtract for things such as the crystal in this watch. And this pen, I'm sure, has some components in it that are made of other metals that are obviously not 1/20th 14 karat gold. So what you want to do is make sure that you're being fair to those that you're selling to. And I think that the actual weight of this was like 100, like slightly over 100. I'm going to say it was like 110, 115. And so I did some special math and brought it down to 82 grams. So what that does is, first of all, when the person receives a lot and they weigh it, they'll be happily surprised because they'll have more weight there than they anticipated. And also repeat buyers, and I have several of them. So that's a good thing. And once again, for your knowledge, if you do have, things that are, and they should be marked, like the ones that are not marked, that's just scrap, it's costume jewelry. It goes into that pile. So all of these, that's another thing, have the markings on them. So there's no questions by the maker, of course. Also, if you are considering selling gold, silver, platinum, any of those precious metals to, let's just say, a shop down the street, a shop at the mall, where on Main Street, wherever it is, one of those throw your valuables into an envelope and send it to us and we might pay you money schemes, first of all, please don't do that. I know some people have done it and I can't believe, but it is what it is. Be careful, be aware, get multiple quotes from multiple people who are willing to buy your items that are gold, silver, platinum, etc. Keep an eagle eye on your stuff because things, suddenly a ring isn't there or all of the backs to the earrings are missing. You just want to be very aware because those are your valuables and you don't want to just become a victim. Like, please don't become a victim. But unfortunately, if you're walking into a place off the street or whatever, and it's not someone you haven't known for decades, and even if you did know them for decades, I say you should still go and get multiple quotes from several people, not just in your state. Go over the border, and see what you can get for your items before you let them go, because it's probably too late for a large majority of people. But there was a time when buying gold and silver was like a hot commodity, a big thing. And there's a reason for that. They weren't just doing you a favor. So just something to be aware of. Same thing with people who buy like coins and money. that's even worse. So you really need to do your homework. Make sure there's not a bait and switch going on. Never let your items leave your site. If they're like, we're too busy, you can leave your stuff and come back. You might as well just take all of the money out of your purse or wallet and throw it at them and run out the door. Never leave valuables behind. Just don't do it. And also, once again, get those quotes. There are people that have had coins that are worth tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands. They go back and the coin that they're now being presented with is one that might be worth only a couple $100 because a dealer that has no scruples. And unfortunately, there's a lot of them out there. Something else to be aware of is on eBay, they're sort of putting a moratorium on the sale of money products. So, for example, this antique $1 bill, it has a blue seal. It is a silver certificate. It was printed in 1935 F series, so that means that there was a series A, B, C, D, E before this. They are... I don't know why. Like, I can't find any good reasoning for them doing that. And it's not just paper money, but coins. I don't know if that... I think that applies to bullion as well. So I will have to, like, verify that. But just something to know that... and I think there's, like, certain parameters where you may not fall under that. But one thing that I do know is they do have a company that they've partnered with. I'm going to say, gosh, this had to be like in the middle of the year 2000, like the 2000 years, maybe 2010 or something like that. And that company deals only in buying like gold and silver. And, I think they do buy like, I don't know if they buy money though, but definitely coins they do. And so I think it has something maybe to do with that partnership, that they're shoring it up more and trying to funnel folks that way. The negative with that is not only are you paying eBay, you will also pay them, plus you'll pay whatever payment service you use and post it, like the whole 9 yards. So it's just another way to get more cash out of you. But there are a lot of groups on Facebook that deal with buying and selling of money products, as I call them. So you might want to become a member of some of those groups now versus waiting until everyone else is lined up trying to become a member, because you're less likely to be accepted as a member. And also, it's a good way for you to do some research, like groups that you should join. I'll just give you a few clues. Are groups that have a very large number of members. Not to belittle those that have only a few members, but because everyone has to start somewhere. But I would say definitely join a group that has a lot of members, but also join like a couple groups that don't have, maybe they only have a few hundred members, and get a vibe and a feel for what's going on in those groups for quite a while before you put yourself out there. Because they will eat you up like a barracuda. Why? Because they know exactly what they're talking about. And most of them have been at this game for decades. And I mean decades. So you just want to make sure that, you go in knowing what you're talking about. And especially if you're trying to sell something, knowing, make sure you verify that it is definitely legit, etc. Otherwise, they will, like, their rules are very strict. You will quickly no longer be a member of those groups. And hopefully there's a change at eBay. eBay has been making a lot of changes. I probably have to do a video for you guys on some of the changes that they've enacted. And at one point, there was like such a flurry of changes. I was like, what is going on? Usually when you see activity like that, there's something happening at the top. eBay really, if you think about it, it's two things. One, it is a platform. So you just do things with a platform as a user. Like usually the platform itself is sort of like a receptacle for things. And two, it's a collection agency because it's collecting fees. It's not putting your pictures out there. It is not creating your listings. It is not going out into the world and coming up with different things to sell or ideas or whatever. You're doing like I would even say 95% of the work. So why a platform that really doesn't need a lot behind it is making so many changes, and also the fact that so many people are unhappy with the fact that they're having a managed payment system, but versus the fees going down, they're either staying the same or even going up a bit. It's just not fair. It's super incredibly greedy. But we're still waiting. Everyone is still waiting for that ninja to come out of the background and eat this company up and be the next new best, better thing. And I have a video on that I will attach to this, and I'll also link it down below in the description notes so that you guys can check out what that will be. Something that sells really well, but you have to be very careful because you will end up with a house full of these things, are antique and vintage tins. So what do you have to look out for? You need to have some knowledge of tins. You want to make sure that what you have is not a reproduction, because there are a lot, millions upon millions of them out there. Also, condition matters. If they're in perfect condition, that's very suspicious. But if they also look as if you beat them up a bit, super suspicious and very obvious to an actual collector. Also, colors matter. So people like bright, like this has the oranges, the blacks, this beautiful pine green in it, which are highly unusual colors. So kind of coming from that deco era. And also, what is the subject matter? That's very important. And then the last thing is, how was the tin made? A hinged tin, or a tin that also has some sort of weird extra to it, such as maybe you open it and there's some sort of music playing or whatever, those are going to be worth more than a tin that is a box with a lid that separates. So also, just because it's an old tin or a vintage tin or antique tin, it doesn't mean that it's going to sell, because there may be so many out there in the market. It is so common that people are like, yeah, it's nice, but I already have one of those or 7 of them or whatever. So you want to look for the ones that are unique, antique, and also in a certain condition. A highly overlooked area are National Geographics. Now, I'm not talking about the ones with the yellow rimmed trimmed out covers. I'm talking about the school bulletin magazines, because, hello, kids had them, so they did not stand the test of time. Kids did what kids do. They wrote in them. They actually filled out the little puzzles and things like that. They use them to cut pictures out for other projects or just for their own entertainment. They wrote in them, just because. And also, these were made as a throwaway item, unfortunately. So what happened is, they got recycled, they got thrown away. And also with these, in order to sell them, you do need to sell them in bulk. So something to note is each bulletin is only about 12 to 14 pages long. So although there may be a lot of them, and you can see there's 65 in this lot, they are no bigger than, I believe it was maybe a bit thicker than this very thick old, which I bought secondhand, Outlander edition book. So I was able to easily get them into a box, and the postage was media mail, so it was only like $4 to ship them. So if you see the children's versions, and there's a lot of them, I would definitely pick those up, because usually, like all of these, I think I got for, I believe it was $2. I think it couldn't have been more than $2 that I paid for all of these. So they are out there, and you can definitely do a good job on resale. And also, one more thing to note on these is if there are errors or mistakes, which is very, very rare, but you can do your research to find out which ones were error additions or controversial additions that they pulled. Those obviously have a premium on their own. Tokens, you know I love selling tokens, and I look for them all the time because no one cares. And I don't know why no one cares, but they don't. So anyone watching this video, guess what? You are once again ahead of the curve. You watch my other videos on reselling, which I will also link to the description notes of this video, as well as I will put something in the upper or left or right hand corner so you can click on that when the video is done. If you watch those videos, once again, I'm going to tell you about items that you could resell that other people just overlook because they rather sell a pair of sneakers than anyone else could sell. But trade tokens sell really well. I mean, come on. It's like shipping a, let's say, Kennedy $50, so the weight is nothing. And you can actually charge more for the shipping because on some of them, if not most of them, you should definitely insure them because these are one-of-a-kind things. You're never going to see them again. And also what I do is I ship them in a special holder to make sure that they're just not rattling around and getting scratched up, or if the package ended up in a puddle, everything is waterproof. And I also add a description card for the person. So, yeah, I love as you could tell, love selling tokens. This is one that represents Bohemia and Moravia. And it is actually the wording, the lettering you see is in that language. And what's super unique is it looks like what we used to call a telephone dial. So that classic dial, even with a little thumb or finger hook there. So I had several people interested in this, and they all lived in a foreign country and wanted to buy it, but the shipping was going to be outrageous for like 2 of the countries. And finally, the person who purchased it was someone who was in a foreign country, but they were okay with the shipping price. And I know it says $7.95, but I believe it was like $14 because it was sent priority mail. Another awesome item for resale, and it's not even an item, a category for resale. I'm hesitating on this, and the reason why is it just flabbergasted me. I guess I'm a little bit flabbergasted. If you have any Trifari jewelry, look at it, because a lot of this Trifari jewelry is vintage, and it ends up in a little baggie for like 50 cents, 25 cents, something like that. The crown Trifari jewelry, even though the costume jewelry industry is definitely flooded, the prices that people used to get, they're definitely not getting anymore. But there, like I said, still are certain categories that are worth looking at and reselling in. And anything to do with crown Trifari or Trifari jewelry is that. There are ways to date Trifari jewelry. If you are interested in me doing a video on that, please comment below and I will. Because a lot of people, they just don't realize that this particular jewelry brand is better than what they think. And especially if you have things that are harder for people to find quality, such as clip-on earrings, a lot of folks can't find them. Not the good ones, because mostly the world is full of pierced earrings and has been probably for the last, I would say, 30 years. So if you have a great pair, of course, most of them are vintage. Like I said, if you want me to do that video, comment below and I will. And most of it is in amazing condition because the people that had it, they usually had just a little bit more money. So versus buying something that was a no-name or lower brand costume jewelry maker, they would buy something that was a higher quality designer brand such as Trifari. So these sold for $16.99 plus $4.95 for shipping and handling. So let's talk a little bit right now about how to declutter. So one of the best, and this is, you're talking to someone who has crawled in the lofts and rafters of barns to other type of crawl spaces, etc., looking for treasures before our cleaners come in and clean everything out. So one of the things that you need to know is this. You yourself personally have to get to a particular spot in your brain where you can just let things go. If you're hovering and discussing and, sort of taking more than 30 seconds with every item that you touch, then you might actually, and I'm being very serious and respectful when I say this, you might actually need to talk to a professional, because hoarding is a mental illness as well as something that people need help with. And also, most people, I'm going to say here in the United States, I'll say all people have existed with this thing of buy more, and buy everything and have everything. And at the end of the day, some people just have way too much. I am more of a minimalist myself, and things that, like, for example, I have a business. So I am constantly organizing and reorganizing. One, because I want to make sure I always know what I have. Two, because rotations must occur. And three, because I want to make sure if there's something that I know we were sort of like thinking about, if we're no longer thinking about it, it's going to go to one of our big sales or be sold in a junk drawer mixed box lot. That's what you see on the screen. And I sell these lots all of the time. They're full of so every lot is 100% different from any other lot I ever sold. And that's in the description of the listing. I always note that. And what I do is I sell by the pound. So I have 10-pound lots. I've had 15-pound lots. And the highest poundage I will do is a 20-pound lot. And in that lot, you will find mostly smaller items. So when I say smaller, if it's the size of a football or smaller. So I don't sell like giant chunky things in these lots because, hello, you have to ship them. So you have to keep that in mind. And also, if you sell anything that's glass or breakable or delicate, it has to be appropriately boxed separately before you put it into your big box of other items to ship out. So I, yes, will ship a box or even multiple boxes inside of one large box. And then I have the other items that are not breakable that are all covered in bubble wrap and packed in there as well. So it's everything from jewelry to coins. Yes, you guys, buttons, because there's a couple people that say, oh my God, really? Yes, buttons. There's ceramic items, pottery items, glass items, knickknacks, paddywhacks, give a dog a bone. I mean, it's, a lot of everything. I usually put like maybe one or two of my antique or vintage books in there, but very, like, they're not full of books or magazines or anything like that that would really make a buyer unhappy if you did that. I do put framed art in these sometimes. I put old sets, so like tea sets, you know, they're complete, whatever, put that in there. The list goes on and on. Metal items. So if you have lots of stuff and you're trying to figure out, how can I sell this stuff? Do I need to sell it all individually? No, you don't. As a matter of fact, the majority of what you have probably should be sold in bulk lots like this. So all you do is you take a box and walk around your home, your basements, your attics, your garages, etc., and you start collecting things, putting them in that box. When that box is full, put it to the side and start the next box. When you get 4, 5, 6 boxes, list those boxes. And what you do is you simply note that these are mixed box lots. The items will not be clean, but you do need to make sure that they don't have stains and remnants of food and dust particles the size of King Kong, etc. We honestly do make sure our items are clean, but you do want to sort of put a little warning in there just in case you miss something, and that every lot will be different. You want to note that, and you also want to note how much the box weighs so that they know approximately how many pounds of stuff they will be getting. And also make sure that you charge the appropriate postage so that you don't undercharge. And the boxes need to be priced to sell. Otherwise, you're now going to end up with boxes just sitting around. And eBay has a really cool option where you can note that you have 7 lots to sell. So you could do one listing for 7 separate sales. And if you want me to show you how to do that, please make a note down below in the comments, and if enough people want to see that, I will do a separate video on how I do that. And I've been doing it like this for many, many years, and I've had zero negative feedback. And I can even show you how to, you know, package up the items to make sure that they arrive to their destination safely. So that's something to be aware of. And like I said, easy, quick way to clean up your home and also to, you know, get rid of stuff and not just donate and throw away everything. Something else that's selling really well is vintage china. So the idea is this. First of all, do your research. All the china pretty much has the maker's information on the bottom of it. Also, make sure the pieces match. That's kind of huge. And the reason why is sometimes the same maker will make small modifications, and now that's a totally different, like, designed set. So like I said, just make sure the pieces actually match. And super easy to do a search and to figure out how much this stuff sells for, because there are some pieces that sell for very little or almost nothing. And then you have pieces that sell for, like this one sold for $16 plus $9.95 for shipping and handling. My actual shipping and handling cost was about maybe $6. So you also want to make sure the pieces are perfect, no cracks, no chips, no crazing. They should be usable. This has gold gilt. If they have gold gilt, you need to mention that, because you don't want someone trying to put this in a microwave or buying it and not realizing that that could be an issue. So just describe it and make sure that it's in perfect condition and ship it so that it will not break in transit. And you should be able to sell lots of these sets. Once again, it's another situation where if you have, let's say, 6 sets of cups and saucers like this, there's a way for you to list it on eBay one time and sell each set separately versus doing 6 separate listings. So anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And I do want to show you something super special, so don't click off yet. So I want to say many thanks to everyone that supported the channel. We had 80,000 plus views of our videos, and I really appreciate that. And with your help, we hope to get to 100,000. So thank you guys so much. please, please share our videos with other people and look at our playlist, which I will also note down in the description of this video, for other subjects that we cover, so that hopefully together we can get to 1,000 subscribers, 100,000 views, and eBay will allow me to use more, not eBay, listen to me, YouTube will allow me to use more of their tools. So thank you guys so much. Be well. Remember that your health is your wealth, and without your health, you have absolutely nothing.